Welcome aboard. It's another beautiful day and we're right here on the AM show. What can you expect this morning? We'll be telling you in a bit. My name is Benjamin Akapo. I do this together with...
I'm Sweetie Abochin. It's always our pleasure to welcome you to the start of a brand new day. So quickly, we'll start with the AM news. And after that, we'll review the newspapers. And to help us do that, Nanaya Sapong is from the Movements for Change. Afel Moni is former GJA president. And after that, we'll bring you AM Sport. Then our big stories.
Well, when we get into our big stories, a police officer has tragically drowned in the River Ofin in an operation against illegal mining, and hopes are fading in the search of survivors at the Mpasetia mining pit collapse incident as well, as community members abandon the search. We'll be telling you more about that. But in the related incident, Sweetie.
Yes, we know that the Enchi District Court has overturned its earlier decision to release 2 excavators and other mining equipment seized from illegal miners operating in the Boyne Forest Reserve after public outrage and upon admission of the court that it lacked jurisdiction to release the earth-moving machines. This morning, we continue to count the cost of Galamsey and its ravaging spray. Well,
you'd want to join us with your thoughts on it. LI2462. Should it go in its entirety or should it just be amended? Among the other issues that we're contemplating this morning, we're going hard on illegal mining. And remember, the AM show is proudly sponsored by Waylead Properties. They lead the way in terms of real estate. On that note, stick and stay. Sweetie Abachi will be serving you the news up next.
Across Ghana's 16 regions and around the world on the Joy News channel and myjoyonline.com, this is the AM News. We're also live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, on X Spaces, on Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sweetie Abochi. Let's get into the details. Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwame Governs Abuja, has directed local contractors, First Sky and Oswald Investments to urgently fix the slowed Asherman roundabouts to Afenya and Tema motorway to Dowenya roads. Frustration mounts as the uncompleted stretches trap commuters in endless gridlock, blanket them in dust and stretch patience to the limit. Kweku Asante joined the minister on a first-hand assessment and reports.
Traffic, eternal gridlock at Dowenya and Afenya, an all too familiar torment for thousands of road users. Narrow, crumbling road stretches, the agony of a few kilometers into hours of frustration. For years, this has been the story, one of slow-moving construction, dashed hopes, and a community on the edge of disillusionment.
I haven't seen much work, especially since we left, in terms of Ashama runabout to beyond Afenya. There were spots that we thought they could have remedied up to now, they haven't.
In a bid to provide some relief, the minister has directed 2 local contractors to carry out immediate spot maintenance. The goal to offer some breathing space while the main construction resumes.
And immediately, I'm asking First Sky Group to help MMU to remedy all that we can do to ease the problem on the how do you call it, the motorway runabout towards Central University. And immediately, I'm asking Oswald to also work on the Ashama runabout to beyond Michelle Camp.
For residents, this is not just another promise, it's a lifeline. They are watching closely.
From Dowenya to Afenya, Master, that's our headache. It's about 4-kilometer road, but you spend more than an hour to get there. So with what the minister have said, please, we are most grateful. This is our headache.
For now, the people of Dowenya and Afenya, they wait, stuck in gridlock, hoping the wheels of progress will finally move faster than the traffic. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante.
President John Dramani Mahama has urged the contractor working on the desilting of the Odaw drain to speed up efforts ahead of the rainy season. During a tour of flood-prone areas in the Greater Accra region, he also ordered Kitech Motors to remove silt and restore a Ramsar site and water retention basin at Malam Junction. The president directed the Regional Security Council to enforce compliance and remove buildings obstructing waterways.
President John Mahama toured several flood-prone areas including Achimota,
Malam Junction, Kaneshi First Light, and the Odaw Drain at Circle as part of efforts to tackle flooding in Accra. He was accompanied by members of the Anti-Flood Task Force chaired by Deputy Chief of Staff and Task Force Head Stan Dogbe. At Malam Junction, Stan Dogbe expressed concerns over a private business, Kitech Motors, illegally filling a Ramsar site and a water retention basin, warning that it could worsen flooding after heavy rains.
So you are selling the Ramsar site to a private company, and you are here to defend the fact that the company is filling the place up and causing problems. And you want us to continue listening, Mr. President. I think that the task force has we've gone around with hydrology, we've gone around with water resources, we've gone around. The challenge here is that the over 1 million that is which is being filled consistently by the company. Two companies here, and then I think the VIP on the other side. They are the ones that are closing up the retention basin. So if you go to Blue Lagoon, which we have to drive through the other, every house there, the water enters into the room. Every house. So most of it you see is green from the last green, but the drain that President Mills constructed, it's choked right there because the water can't flow into this. So if the chiefs sold the land, the private organization, how do you get to defend the fact that they sold land and somebody is dredging a small piece? Because the effect is not going to do it. As Mr. Moko said the last time, we can do all the works that we are currently doing up there. If this siltation continues, and you can see that they are going.
In response, President Mahama ordered Kitech Motors to remove the silt and restore the area to prevent further environmental damage.
Because they are creating destruction for other people's properties and even loss of lives. Sometimes when it floods heavily, we lose human lives. And so it's not because we don't have a sympathy for people like that, but we must enforce the bylaws. And the point is, the assembly here, how did you sit and allow this to happen? Can you imagine the volume of water that this place alone can hold when it rains? And so if you fill it up and you say there should just be a drain passing through, the drain cannot contain that water. And so let's do what we have to do. They should remove all this, and it should be at the cost of the people who did it. They should take this back where they brought it from. Thank you.
The tour continued at the Kaneshi First Light, where the president urged contractors to speed up drainage works ahead of the rainy season. Finally, at the Odaw Drain, President Mahama called on the dredging contractors to accelerate their work to mitigate flood risk.
These garage projects for desilting the major drains were given since last year. It is clear that all of them are behind schedule. And from what I have seen, these drains are not going to be ready before the rains open up. And if they aren't, it means that we must expect that there will be severe flooding this season. I would have thought that the contractors will take advantage of the dry season and work as quickly as possible so that we would have been ahead with these projects by now. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. And so we just have to caution citizens of Accra that there's going to be severe flooding because of the delay in these projects. But we have to do everything to alleviate destruction of property and loss of life as much as possible. But I've charged the Garage Secretariat and the Hydrology Section and the Ministry to pay constant attention to make sure that all the projects that have been awarded under Garage to make Accra resilient from flooding are speeded up as quickly as possible so that we can minimize the flooding.
Now, the technical committee proposes to the government to break ECG's operations into sections and assign them to private entities as part of efforts to reform Ghana's power distribution sector. Despite fierce opposition from the Trades Union Congress and the Public Utilities Workers Union, The government is pressing ahead with plans to involve private actors. After nearly 2 months of consultations, the committee has submitted its report to the Energy Minister, outlining 3 major recommendations, including this controversial restructuring of the ECG.
After 2 months of deliberations, the technical committee tasked with exploring private sector participation in Ghana's power distribution companies has submitted its report to the Energy Minister. The committee examined key challenges facing the Electricity Company of Ghana and proposed measures to address them.
And we see problems with governance, we see problems with management malaise. And then we also see procurement problems, high losses both in terms of commercial and collection.
The committee's report outlined 3 modules for private sector participation, down from an initial 8. One major proposal suggests breaking ECG's operations into separate units and awarding them to private entities.
And there's option B, which we are calling the multiple lease, in which case the distribution across the country will be divided into several parts, and each of them awarded to probably a different private sector participator to operate and to invest in. Then there's a third option, which we call option C, the service franchise, in which case the private sector will operate the network, the low voltage network from the distribution transformer to deliver services to the homes.
However, the proposal has met stiff resistance from groups like the Trades Union Congress and the Public Utilities Workers Union, who strongly oppose any form of privatization. Timothy Nyame is the General Secretary of POO.
I want to state it categorically that, look, there's no private sector participation in the energy sector. That is not supposed to make profit. They don't have any business in the private sector, in the public sector. They should put certain modalities in place and let us move together.
Energy Minister John Jinapo believes this is the only viable path to rescuing the struggling, loss-ridden energy distribution companies.
On a monthly basis, we incur a deficit or a shortfall of more than 1 billion cedis from the distribution sector.
The Energy Minister, John Jinapo, says a position paper will now be presented to Cabinet for further assessment before any of the proposed models are implemented.
The next step from here will be to do a position paper to Cabinet for the entire government to consider and approve the option that we will be pursuing, following which we would establish a project implementation committee. We would also have to get a transaction advisor, make this process as transparent and open as possible.
For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
As the world commemorates World Autism Awareness Day, the founder of Bright Steps International School, Grace Nkrumah, is calling on the government to do more to educate Ghanaians about autism. As part of the celebration, the school organized a float through the streets of Accra to raise awareness and encourage inclusivity for individuals on the autism spectrum. There's more in this report.
As the world observes Autism Awareness Day, the focus is on the urgent need for greater education and support for autistic individuals. This year's theme, Advancing Neurodiversity and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, emphasizes how inclusive policies can drive change and contribute to the SDGs. To raise awareness, Bright Steps International School organized a float through Accra, engaging the public and promoting understanding of autism. The event highlighted the challenges faced by individuals on the spectrum and tested public knowledge.
What I know about autism there is from the infancy, you can see a child who cannot speak. So sometimes we used to say, "We are bosumba." That's what I know about autism.
So they are like children that normally get scared when they are frightening or something. So normally they behave differently from other people. But I think they are normal with us.
What do you know about autism?
I don't have any idea.
Have you heard about it somewhere before?
Yes.
founder of Bright Steps International School, Grace Nkrumah, stressed the importance of public education and urged government to take active role in awareness campaigns.
This battle or this cross of awareness creation should go beyond private individuals, private schools. The nation should take it on board. We have these children across the nation, and if we can invest in them early in their education, it will save the country a lot of money. So it is not just for individuals to spread the news. We need the entire nation to come on board to create the awareness.
Advocates believe increased education and government support can help foster a more inclusive society. Nicholas Ekoyama's report for Joy News.
Today is World Autism Awareness Day. We are out educating each one and everyone.
Let's all support them in the best way that we can. Now, moving on, the 2024 NPP's vice presidential candidate, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, has called for swift, fair support for victims of the Odaw PZ fire in Kumasi. Visiting the affected traders, he urged inclusive relief efforts and donated 50,000 Ghana cedis and 500 bags of cement. Nana Boache Yadom tells us more.
The Odaw PZ fire, which broke out on Friday, March 21, 2025, left several businesses in ruins and displaced many traders and their families. The NPP's vice presidential candidate for the 2024 election, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, visited the area to sympathize with the traders. His visit is part of efforts to support the traders affected by the fire. I have been affected by the fire myself, but I can't complain. I pray that God helps us all. I am not an MP anymore. I am an unemployed politician, but I cannot come in vain, so I am giving out 50,000 Ghana cedis and 500 bags of cement. As recovery efforts continue in the Odaw PZ area, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh has called for swift government intervention without any form of discrimination. It can't be that government supports a group of people and not others. All those who trade here must hear from the government, and there shouldn't be any form of discrimination. Meanwhile, some of the affected traders have returned to make sales despite evacuation notice to allow for further consultation on rebuilding the market. At this point, we have returned to the land to start business. We are, however, waiting for the Asante for his final determination. For Joy News, Nana Boache Yadom, Kumasi.
In other stories, the 1993-year group of Nanabe Dubonsu Basic School in the Western region have revisited the alma mater after 32 years to bond, reminisce, and explore ways to support the school. During the visit, the group made donations and identified critical needs requiring further assistance. They also encouraged past students of basic schools across the country to give back and support the next generation. Western Regional Correspondent Inathalia Kwansa has more.
Nanabe Dubonsu Basic School in New Takrade has long been recognized as a beacon of academic excellence. Established in 1950, the school has nurtured countless students who have gone on to achieve remarkable successes both locally and abroad. The 1993-year group returned to their alma mater to give back to the institution that shaped their formative years. Spokesperson of the year group is Priscilla Ishen.
We have visited the school today to bond with the school, to reminisce and also to network. We did not come empty-handed. We came with a set of jerseys, 3 footballs, a pump, and 3 ceiling fans. So we came to seek to know how we can also contribute to the well-being of the school. Having left here 32 years ago, there has been a massive transformation. This used to be a 3-unit classroom block. Now it is a story building. The year group is going back to sit down and go to the discussion table to know what we can do to support our younger ones. So we are also appealing to all past students, both our mates, our seniors, our juniors, to come back to your roots and support the school so that together we can move Banana Bedubonso forward.
Headmistress of the school is Mercy Apia.
I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful for the nice presentation by the 1993 year group, all students of Nana Bedubonso. In fact, they've really done well and really appreciate that. So on behalf of my staff, I say God richly bless you. God richly bless you for all that you have spent on us. And I know God is going to bless you abundantly. I really appreciate what they presented unto us. It will help because of especially the football and the jersey. You know, some of them are into sports. They are well talented in sports. When it comes to sports, they are good. Because some of them too might be good in academically. So we are happy to have this jersey sports outfit so that it will help them to do training. Also, when you are going for competition, even appearance also counts.
Reporting for Joy News in Athalia Kwansa, New Takrade.
Let's get into our business update now with Benjamin Akakbo.
Welcome to Business Update. We start first with our currency market for today. Let's get into our stories now. And the Ghana Revenue Authority has officially announced the abolition of the controversial 1% electronic transfer levy. This follows the president's assent to the e-transfer levy yesterday. Now, according to the GRA, with immediate effect, all financial institutions and payment platforms are instructed to cease applying the levy and swiftly process refunds for any deductions made beyond this date. But the Telecoms Chamber is insisting it needs at least 24 hours to fully comply. Ken Ashigbe is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications.
Sometime that would be required between when the Gazette is being received and notification given so that the charging entities and GRA itself would be able to move all the calibrations they've done from the test environment to the production environment. And normally, for such a system, based on all, maybe within 24 hours, that ought to be done. So I'm pretty sure that once the Gazette is received by GRA, we will then allow the time for the calibration of the system, which I'm pretty sure would be about 24 hours. And so let's say we get this tonight, maybe Thursday midnight into Friday morning, those calibrations will be completed, because it's important that you do this thing so that there are no hitches when you go live.
Well, now, MTN Ghana has stated that it will collaborate with government and the necessary agencies to ensure the participation of Ghana's biggest telecommunications player in the implementation of the 5th generation network, that is 5G. Now, speaking at a fireside chat to mark a year, CEO of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blewett stressed the need for healthy engagements for the growth of the country's telecoms sector.
Yeah, we've had engagements with NGRC, and we've discussed with them. From our perspective, however 5G plays out, MTN will participate in some way. So whether that's NGRC or hybrid or multiple players, whatever, we will, and we're happy to be part of rolling that out. We're happy to be partners. There's a lot of different ways. So we will wait for guidance from our ministry on that, and we will wait to do that. In terms of AR, you obviously know a lot more about AR than me. That's why Bernard was laughing at me when you were talking about AR now. I'll give you my global view of AR, okay? My first quick comment I'm going to make about AR is I think, unfortunately, it's become almost a bit oversold, in my opinion. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Is a lot of people are jumping onto the AR bandwagon, and how much is actually AR and how much of it's just noise and hype, okay? For me, and for us as MTN, we have a program that is across all of our operating markets and seeing use cases for AR. Okay? And we use different technologies to achieve that. So this is the good thing about being part of a group, is each country has a different focus. So when I met with them, I said I wanted to use AR for customer experience, and we're using it for other things. And these different models, as you say, that can be used for that. But other countries are doing different things, AR for people, etc. The good thing about it is we'll learn from each other.
Well, let's segue into our commodities market now. Well, that's it for business. Handing over back to Sweetie Abochi.
For the AM News Bulletin on the AM Show, you want to stay with us because the conversation starts now, starting with a news review. We'll be right back.